Hello and welcome to a Star Citizen podcast. I'm BoredGamer. I bring with me Zinnia. Say hello, Zin.
Hello, Zin.
We are here to talk about some things that have been happening in the Star Citizen community and world lately with Alpha 3.15.1, which is now live, the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo, what we think of that so far, and I suppose what's coming at the end of the year with 3.16 potentially. So let's start with 3.15.1. We've got the Redeemer, the Ares, and Clouds that I really want to talk about. So you've had a bit of a chance to have a look at the Redeemer and the Ares Ion Inferno.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of the Redeemer? It just being a mass ship of destruction.
I like it. I mean, I wasn't there for the whole thing of having it developed or thought up by the community, by a team of people.
Yeah, so the Four Horsemen won a competition called the Next Great Starship, and basically teams were tasked with building a spaceship. I believe they were sort of amateur-ish at the time, as in they did not do it as a living, but maybe they did. I'm not entirely sure. I can't remember. It was very, very long ago. But the Redeemer was the winning entry from the Four Horsemen and the team that won, and it was made hangar-ready for quite a long time. So this is several years ago, and had to be entirely sort of reconcepted. It had to be brought in line with CIG's sort of gold standards before it was made flyable, which took a long time. And now it's a focused gunship rather than sort of like a gunship dropship hybrid.
Yeah, I think it's good. I like it. It's got lots of pew.
It has a lot of pew, but is it too much pew? I think
no.
It's not. You never have enough pew. Yeah.
You can never have enough pew.
It's just, I think it would probably excel in large scale battles. So if you've got another Xeno threat, if you've got another fleet battle with the sort of size of the Idrises and Javelins turning up and things like that, then a Redeemer or multiple Redeemers are going to be fantastic. It's at the moment there's very little to use its large scale IMA, quite small gunship with a lot of gun.
Yeah, it's a bit overkill for bounties.
Yes, it's overkill. I mean, that's literally what it is. But I suppose if it's only got 2 SCU of cargo, so you're not going to be bringing much back. You're not going to be able to do much else other than focused pew. It's it's a very cool ship. I'm glad they made it. Might see some modularity in the future. Obviously, try it out at the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo, and it's available now to purchase. What about the Ares? We've got the Ion and the Inferno. So you're a lover of the Inferno, aren't you?
Mm-hmm. I like my rat-tat-tat-tat-tat.
Is that the sound the gun now makes? It doesn't make that sound though. I want it to make the brrrr sound incredibly rapidly, but as of yet, it does not make the sound that I love.
Does it not coincide with the bullets? So it literally represents the rate of fire, I believe, doesn't it?
Yes, but I want a rate of fire that represents what I feel in my heart should be. Yeah, that rate of fire. That's the thing, though,
because it's got really strong, it's single bullet damage is very high. Having it go brrr is going to just obliterate everything.
Well, obviously, so okay, the Ion has incredibly high single shot damage, but the Inferno has incredibly high damage per second. Which makes sense because it's ballistic. It hasn't got all of the ammo in the world, but it does have a substantial amount of ammo. Even though it's ballistic, you don't have to really worry too much about running out of ammo quickly.
Oh god, it's got so much ammo.
But it should. I mean, when it runs out of that ammo, it's got nothing. It is just some wings that are being slowed down by a large gun. So these are very interesting single-seater heavy fighters because they are not really intended for dogfighting. They're certainly not intended for one-on-ones unless the one that you're attacking is bigger than you. So if you're attacking like a constellation or something, I mean, I still wouldn't bring it to that fight. But if it's being supported by other ships, other fighters, then it's fantastic because you can land the shots when you need them, and you can sort of fire unopposed.
I was trying to kind of explain them to DC, and I think the closest I could get was saying they're kind of like exosuits in Natural Selection 2.
Yeah, big gun.
So you've basically got your machine gun exosuit, and then you've also got your I forgot what the other one, the laser
railgun exo.
Railgun. Yeah.
Well, because no one uses the railgun exos. That's why.
Well, they do, but the railgun exos are very good against higher life forms.
I don't think I'm not sure if I like the exo. We're talking about Natural Selection 2. Genuinely great game. Sort of died a bit.
Dead game.
Well, the skill curve's too high for new players, and then the skilled players versus newbie players. Well, if you've got the better people on your team, you just win full stop. It's good game.
Anyway,
though. Good game. Okay, so I'm a lover of the Ion because I like alpha damage. I like the idea of it being used for alpha strikes, people coming through certain areas. Not necessarily to instantly kill them, but to be able to damage components very quickly and be able to disable them.
Disable things.
Yes.
That would be great.
Because you'll get a couple of shots on, and it won't be like, oh, I've won. It'll be like, you have a very damaged shield now, or very damaged component. So I've already done some attrition to you.
Yeah, I'm again looking forward to using it in an instance of like Xenothreat or something like that, where there's going to be bigger ships to try and disable.
Yeah. Well, so I'm looking forward to people getting really good with them and using them for anti-PvP. So you're doing an op, and then someone comes in PvPing to try and like take out some of your miners or whatever, and then you have just a little wing of these that just go pew, and just snipe them. So if you get good with them, I suspect they're pretty good.
I do think the Redeemer would probably be better for that.
No, I think you're right. I think that sort of brings the pain, but super protection, super high DPS.
I think a fully manned Redeemer, so like everybody's on every single turret that they could be, would easily protect a load of miners.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the Redeemer has very good defense and offense function. Anyway, clouds, 3.15.1. What did you think of the clouds there? You're like, not as good as real life clouds.
So I have an issue with the clouds. I mean, they're very pretty. I like them. I can see that they're using the tech that they've developed for Crusader.
So yeah, so they've expanded out basically a load of their cloud tech to be used as more weather-like terrestrial clouds for, at the moment, places like Microtech, which is then going to expand into other planets and moons later. And they're going to be a bit different based on the atmosphere and based on the biome and all that sort of jazz as well. So you might see some very alien clouds in the future. So what's your problem with the clouds, Zin?
And I understand that this is the first iteration of planetary clouds, not Crusader clouds. These are planetary clouds. I
know what you mean.
They don't move. That's my problem.
Okay.
But I was thinking, clouds, Microtech's going to look really pretty. I know, I'll do a time lapse. So I did a time lapse and I'm sitting there and 5 minutes in, I'm like, I don't think those clouds have moved. And then 40 minutes later, I'm like, those clouds have not moved at all.
Yeah, so I wonder if they are going to be movie clouds.
I think they should. Like, I would rather not see clouds or have what we had before than see these clouds and not have them move.
Okay. I see what you mean. I think they probably will tie them into some clever tech. They haven't really talked about it much, so I haven't got much to go on.
And like they said, it's quite an intensive, like graphically intensive thing. So I'd imagine having them move as well is probably compounding the issue that they've got at the moment.
So let's move on to the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo, which sort of came with 3.15.1. What do you think of the expo so far?
It's an expo.
Yeah?
You've seen one, you've seen them all, apart from the new ships.
Yeah, so me and Zin don't have the same sort of urge to rent and fly ships, because obviously I've been covering Star Citizen for years and years and years, and I have a lot of the ships that I want, and I'm pretty much freely able to borrow ships of other people I know from my community, and Zin flies the ships she wants, because either I buy them for her or we have access to them somehow. And so, yeah, the actual expo itself, it's quite cool to have a quick look around and the holodeck, but we're not so excited about the rentals.
Yeah.
We understand that a lot of other people will be, because, well, they might not have tried these ships before, and that's cool. But there's obviously a load of stuff on sale. Star Citizen's funding model aside, it is the most profitable time of the year for them, and with the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo going on, they make a huge amount of money from selling all these ships throughout until the 1st of December, and they've got the limited hulls and all that sort of stuff available. So, Zin, what do you think of them selling things like in small amounts, in little waves that they are, things like the Idris and the Javelin, those giant, super expensive capital ships? I think the Idris is about $1,500 and the Javelin's $3,000.
There must be a reason why they're limiting them.
Well, they don't want loads of them in the game. They want them to be a limited
They
amount.
haven't got any in the game at the moment.
Well, that's not entirely true.
Lol.
They're not in player hands properly. They have been stealable in the past, so glitch into them and steal them. But they're not ready for players. They don't have a full interior. They're not up to a standard where they want players to be able to use them yet.
But I think, I would like to think that they're limiting the amount based on their player base. So as the player base increases, they would release more.
That is basically what they've said. So there are sort of two schools of thought here. That Star Citizen is a money printer able to print ships, and these limited ships, however many they want, to make money, which they effectively do at the Intergalactic Aerospace. So, but if that was true, they wouldn't sell such a limited quantity. They really do sell only like a few hundred of these each wave, really small amounts. And they increase that each year because the player base increases each year. So that as you said, that is what they said they were doing. They're sort of increasing the limited amount of ships that would sort of be limited by rarity in game based on the amount of players.
I mean, I think it's a good idea. I mean, I'm not going to buy these ships myself. One, I don't have that sort of money, and two, I don't think I would drop that amount of money on it, even if I did.
And why would you want to own that? You could just use someone else's.
I could just use someone else's.
And you're going to need a crew to run it, aren't you? Like something that big.
And like I think you've said before, it's like this is the sort of thing that orgs would maybe pull together to get.
And they are intended to be an org ship. I'm sure there's going to be some cray-cray players that are trying to run them solo or just with sort of AI turrets or whatever.
Just going to go take my javelin out for a spin.
Well, yeah. I mean, but there will be some people that want to do that. But there are going to be NPC crews that you can hire. So, I mean, a solo player can do that. But it's going to be pretty expensive for a solo player to run. They are intended to be big ships of war that are expensive to use, that you're supposed to buy and run with an org, typically.
Yeah, I quite like the idea of grinding up in order to get the ships that I want.
Oh yeah, I mean, and you've played EVE before, and you know people that play EVE, and you know that even though they've got the ships they want, they still buy dozens and dozens and dozens of other ships and have loads of ships in loads of different locations. And I do think we're going to see a similar thing like that in Star Citizen. What do you think of the Spartan?
Oh, I love it. Yeah, that's basically what I wanted.
Yes.
And I was like, I want an APC just like in Aliens. That's pretty much the same thing.
It is very similar, except this is significantly more highly detailed than these sort of cardboard shapes that were cut out for that APC. If anyone does not remember what the APCs looked like in Alien and think, they looked great, have a look. Please go have a look.
They do look great.
They are just blocks. They're just a couple of shapes stuck together.
No.
Feel free to overlay the original.
I mean, it looks like something you'd find at Robot Wars.
So, the Spartan, I think it's absolutely fantastic. They talked about it at CitizenCon going, do you guys want we're thinking about an APC. We've got one concepted at the moment, and they showed off some concept pictures. They didn't have it concepted. They must have had it built out. This APC is drivable now in 3.15.1. It's available from $65, and it is basically one of your lifetime insurance tokens if you want to buy it and upgrade it to another ship, if you see what I mean, to get lifetime insurance on it. But it's fantastic. It's a proper military-styled APC, as Sin said, a bit alien-like, but it's 8 people, 9 people including the driver. Got a little defense turret as well on it, 2 size 2s, Gatlings.
More if you don't mind standing.
More if you don't mind standing and falling over, potentially. But it's a proper APC, and as we get more and more ground gameplay, which they seem to be putting in patch by patch by patch, lots and lots of ground stuff, we're going to be getting more and more reasons to actually use things like this. So that's very exciting. I like the idea of not being able to just dominate all outposts and things with ships, because you shouldn't be able to, and there needs to be defenses there to repel you, like the missile turrets, but also environmental effects and shields and lots of other stuff. So more ground things, please. What did you think about those Jax McCleary videos that we've seen so far?
Great. I mean, they're always great, aren't they?
Yeah, but I don't think they've ever been as sort of in-depth as this.
Yeah.
So these are sort of like, the first one was 5 minutes, the next one was like 3 or 4 minutes. They're very much more sort of coming into their stride of trying to replicate Jeremy Clarkson, Top Gear, whatever the new one, the the other one they did on Amazon was Grand Tour. The Grand Tour.
Grand Tour, that's the one.
Yeah. Got it there eventually. So yeah, they were very well done, very silly, pretty well animated. Like they're able to do a lot more in engine now, without super pre-baking a lot of stuff, and that allows them to do a lot more interesting things, a lot more silly things, and then you can have the characters talking to each other and emoting a lot more, and yeah, I think it's really impressive. I like the stuff they did like this. Cloud Imperium are very, 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 very good at making adverts and making these little sort of mini in-engine sort of stories. And I sort of hope they continue to do that, but I don't want that to have the game taking a back seat, or for us to just be like, oh, I'm only really excited about CitizenCon and the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo and the Invictus. I want us to be excited for the patch releases when they actually release hard content as well. Like, that's super important that they get like Salvage out next year, and Pyro, and server meshing and things like that. Like, I want to be super excited about that and be like, oh, these patches are wowing me, rather than these individual little trailer-ettes are wowing me.
I think the patches are wowing me at the moment.
That's good to hear.
I mean, well, I wouldn't say wow. It's quite hard to wow me, but I am like thoroughly impressed with what they're doing at the moment.
That is high praise from Zin.
Yeah.
So talking about patches, so I'm actually 3.15.1 for me has been pretty good. I've had an occasional client crash, which is more than I normally get, which is annoying, but it's very playable still. But we're moving into 3.16 territory now. So we've just had 3.15.1. We've just had 3.15 really, and
yeah, it was literally a week apart almost, wasn't it?
It was a few days apart. And that's because 3.15 was very delayed. It was in its patch cycle for a long time, in the PTU cycle and that test cycle for a long time. And but we're moving into the end of November now, and there's supposed to be 3.16 at Christmas, at the end of the year, sort of, or mid-December, late December. And that's supposed to have a load of new stuff in it, like they're putting in new points of interest with derelicts on planets. They're updating heads. They've got the new hospitals in the other locations that don't have hospitals yet. I think they're tweaking some of the NPCs. They're sort of like making the vendors more appropriate to the areas they're in. You've got sort of mining gadgets. I think they wanted to have ship refueling as well, which is reasonably big if they are able to get that in. I think they're tweaking gravlev physics, so that those ground gravlev vehicles are going to be working a lot better. And they've got like laser trip mines, and they want to have a load of new missions and puzzles that make use of those trip mines, and sort of like reward players for having a look around points of interest with more loot. And I think we're getting Jump Town version 2, which would be the most exciting thing for me there, which is sort of a alert, there's lots of valuable free stuff at this area, who wants it, sort of thing, to get players to fight and to try and take these areas over. But are we going to see 3.16 live by the end of the year? Are we going to see an open PTU by the end of the year? Or are we going to see, sorry guys, it's going to be something we're releasing in January?
Who knows?
Exactly, who knows?
I mean, given their current record, I would say probably we might have it on the PTU by the end of the year.
Yeah, I'm hoping for open PTU by the end of the year. I can't I can imagine, but I think it's unlikely that we're going to have a live build by the end of the year, just because they're going to want to test it, and there's not enough time to test it fully. There just isn't enough time. Even if they released it to the Evocati today, I don't think there's enough time for them to get a live build for 3.16 out. And they wouldn't release it today to the Evocati, because they're going to want to wait until the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo is over. So the earliest you're going to get like an Evocati build, in my opinion, for 3.16 would be early to mid-December, and yeah, maybe open PTU, unless the stars align. We're also not entirely 100% sure what's going to be in that 3.16 patch. It does look pretty light for content at the moment, which makes it much more likely that it's going to be in a reasonable state by the end of the year.
Yeah, maybe that's why it's light on content.
Yeah, and we could see some new vehicles. We could see a lot more content added there. It could be quite mission heavy and stuff like that isn't necessarily put on to the roadmap. But the worst thing would be is if they released a live build at the end of the year and the build was broken. Like, you couldn't, it crashed all the time. There were some giant game-breaking bugs, which meant that no one could play. Like, Star Citizen's an alpha. You expect crashes, you expect some stuff that's game breaking occasionally, but it doesn't disrupt your play too much, and you can sort of like work around and avoid things. And it's happened to one of our guys. We have to really log to get them back on or whatever, and sometimes it's annoying, but it should be playable. But they have previously had sort of situations where stuff's been unplayable for a few weeks. So let's hope we're not in that sort of state. But no, I think Star Citizen's in a reasonably good place at 3.15.1. I think that hopefully 3.16 will. I'm okay with it being a little bit lighter, as long as they can get something good in the near future. OpenPT is fine with me by the end of the year. I mean, it's playable by everyone. I don't think we're going to see much in the way of sort of full wipes for a while either. Hopefully, maybe sort of middle of next year they get server meshing and some of that new networking and database tech out. Then we'll sort of see some more full wipes. Are you expecting to see anything on Squadron 42 by the end of the year?
Probably not.
Okay. So,
I mean, I'd like to. I always like to see stuff about Squadron 42 because it's the one thing I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah.
I like sandboxy games, but I really like reasons to do stuff. I like being given a path to go down and goals to achieve.
Yeah. So Squadron 42 is sort of like a litmus test of whether Cloud Imperium can make a great game. Like, we're coming out, hopefully, a lot up before the Successor universe actually comes out and is released. And they've got as much money as they need to complete it. They've got great actors that people love in it. And they've got people that have made great games before in a similar line. So Chris Roberts, people want Chris Roberts Wing Commander for the modern age. And with AAA actors, AA actors, A-class actors, whatever. And I think hopefully we have that with Star Citizen and Squadron 42. And I'm hoping that we do see a little something from Squadron. I'm hoping that we also get a letter from the chairman. We did hit over $400 million in funding on the funding tracker on the website. The actual realistic figure that the Star Citizen's raised is higher, or at least different, because there's money they've made from subscriptions, sponsorship deals, and other incentives, tax breaks, and that sort of stuff, as well as money that they've been that's been invested into them as well from the Calder brothers and stuff like that. We'll have a look when at some point Cloud Imperium do release their finances at the end of the year, so we'll be digging into those. But actually, the last thing, do you like the transparency of how Cloud Imperium run their development? Do you think they could be more transparent? Do you think this is the most transparent sort of development? Would you like to see anything else when it comes to sort of like their finances or breakdowns of roles or anything beyond development that they show?
No, I'm pretty happy with what they do.
Yeah.
I mean, like, they could probably, I'm sure everybody would be like, oh, they could be more transparent, but then it goes into the realm of, well, there's nothing of a surprise anywhere.
Yeah.
I think their finances are as transparent as they really need to be. I mean, they don't really need to give us any information whatsoever, but they do.
I suppose at some point, if you're just being so transparent that people are in the abattoir with you, killing the pigs to make the sausage, that maybe people don't want to actually see that. Do you know what I mean? You don't want to see all of the process of the sausage being made all of the time. Okay, I think we're good. I hope people enjoy the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo. I hope you go and visit there every day, because every day the manufacturer changes. You get another Spectrum badge with that manufacturer. There's loads of ships to rent and try. There's more ships to be revealed as well. So some new stuff, which is coming at some point. And some more Jax McCurry videos. Check those out. And I hope you have fun at the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo. Thanks very much for watching. Say goodbye, Zin.
Goodbye, Zin.
Take care, guys. See you in the verse. It's November, and that means, yes, you're right, it's NordVPN season. All those delicious Nords are collected together to make the finest VPN that I shill for on my channel. Not only is NordVPN delicious, but it also protects. Check out the links below to get fantastic discounts, or go to nordvpn.com/BoredGamer. Do you dream of being at the controls of your spaceship in real life? Well, now you sort of can with Game Glass. It turns touchscreen devices into diegetic controllers for Star Citizen, and you can get the basic software free. Check it out in the links below. Every month we have a ship giveaway as well. This time it's for a Mercury Starrunner, a multi-crew ship that will let you do a bit of everything in-game now. Or at least most things. Lots of things in-game now. In the future it might allow you to do smuggling and data running too. All you need to do to be in for a chance of winning that is comment on any of my videos during November. More details down below. If you'd like to further support the channel, please consider clicking the join or thanks button under my videos, or even becoming a Patreon. You get some cool stuff to show that you're a true supporter of mine and Zin's art, some exclusive polls, ways of shaping the channel, some exclusive videos, all that sort of jazz too. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the verse.